Do you have all sorts of unhealthy habits, but feel like change is just impossible and hear yourself saying, hey, this is who I am, take it or leave it? I'm Hannah Mason, and in this video, we're going to be exploring how change can be everything. So my father-in-law is a dentist, which is the most amazing blessing in my life because I didn't used to like going to the dentist, but I adore my father-in-law. And so going to the dentist now is just like a pleasure. And recently I went into his practice and got a teeth cleaning and was super duper surprised with something that I saw on the wall. So this one hygienist, she's really sweet. She had two different things on her wall about donuts. One was, I'm just a girl looking at a salad, asking for it to be a donut. Which I thought was hilarious. If you've ever seen the film Notting Hill, it's totally a spoof off like the most famous line of that movie. And then there was this like super cute cross-stitch thing that she had also that said, "Do not worry, be happy." And I said to her in a tongue-in-cheek sort of way, it's a little bit ironic seeing all this donut stuff at a dental practice. And she said, oh yeah, it's kind of funny. I have this donut addiction. And I said to her, well, is it something that you want to change? And then something really fascinating happened because her expression went into that kind of confused place where she kind of laughed and then she kind of frowned and then she got sad and then she went silly and embarrassed and she experienced a whole slew of emotions like boom in like just a matter of a second or two. Because there was a part of her that wanted to change and there was another part that really, really didn't. And the part that didn't want to change just said, hey, this is who I am. I have this donut addiction. Isn't it cute? And then she giggled. But the reality is I think there's a part inside of her that knows, and that's why she says, wow, it's really bad, right? That knows that this isn't really so good for her. And so I said to her, you know, if you want to shift this addiction, there's all sorts of really cool mind tricks that you can use that we've learned through neurolinguistic programming that can totally shift your relationship to donuts to the point that you just never want to eat them anymore. But the core question is, do you want to change? And the challenge is that many people believe that we're born the way we are, we don't have the ability to change, and we're just stuck that way. That how we behave right now and the obsessions or addictions or negative behaviors we engage in, that's just like part of who we are and that's what we're stuck with. And other people are just gonna have to deal with it and we're gonna have to deal with it. And maybe that's okay with certain aspects of your life, but when it comes to your health, feeling like your donut obsession is just part of who you are and incapable of changing can lead to heart disease and diabetes and Alzheimer's and cancer and ultimately death. And it seems like, hey, maybe it would be a good idea to re-question that behavior and to re-question the idea that you're just stuck with it and that you don't have a choice and that you're not capable of changing. So what I want to do is ask you, is there an aspect of your lifestyle, whether it be diet or exercise or sleep or stress management, that you know right now the way you engage in it is not going to lead you to positive long-term health outcomes? And if that's true, what is it that you can you look at that aspect? Do you believe that it's part of who you are? Or do you believe that it's something that can change, but you just like it so much you want to stay there, right? But let's say that you believe that there's this one aspect of you that's incapable of changing. You feel like it's ingrained into your bones. This is like part of your character. And if that's the case, I want you to go through this process with me of questioning that thought. We're going to take you through the process of inquiry as introduced by Byron Katie. It's called The Work. And we're just going to ask a few simple questions. The first of which is it true that you can't change? Can you absolutely know that it's true that you're incapable of changing? So for me, I used to think that eating candy all the time was so much a part of me that it was incapable of changing. And so back then I would have said, yeah, this is just who I am. I like candy, get over it. But then if I were to ask myself, can I absolutely know that it's true that I'm incapable of changing? I would have started to a little bit question myself, be like, absolutely true? I don't know. I don't know if anything's anything absolutely. So then I move to the next question, which is, how do you react when you believe the thought that you're incapable of changing? and this is who you are. So for me, I'm trying to think back to when I ate tons of candy and ice cream. If I thought I was incapable of changing, which is pretty much what I thought, I just feel stuck, like literally as though my feet are glued to the ground, and my body gets heavy and I just want to sit down. And my muscles grow a little bit tight and my stomach starts to kind of churn and growl. And something right here gets really sad. Something sad and hopeless about believing that I can't change. So then we go on to the fourth question, which is, how would you be without the thought that you're incapable of changing? And so for me, if I let go of that thought and see myself without that thought in that moment back in college when I was eating insane amounts of ice cream, I feel more open and more relaxed and actually curious to see how my future is going to unfold. And I think Hannah from 20 years ago would be really, really surprised that I'm standing here not only 30 pounds lighter, but emotionally 100 pounds lighter, and sharing with other people amazing teachings and insights about health. Like, I could not have imagined that back then. I was like, no, this is who I am. I eat the ice cream, I eat the candy, can't seem to have any control over it whatsoever. And the last thing we can do is reframe, okay? So we're gonna take the original statement and say it's 180-degree opposite. And when I say 180-degree opposite, I don't mean get all sophisticated in your language. This is really not a good time to pull out your college English skills. This is a really good time to pretend you're in second grade and just ask yourself a simple question. What's the opposite of you're incapable of changing? So one opposite for me is I am capable of changing. And even back then, I could have pointed out all of these things that I did that were really different from who I had been before. So I went to Dartmouth College, which is in New Hampshire and very cold, and there was skiing, and I'd never skied. And so I went from being someone who'd never skied to being someone who was capable of skiing. And so there's a change right there. So one of the things that we want to do when we check out a new way of seeing things and we do a turnaround is give ourselves lots of pieces of evidence to support this new perspective. Because oftentimes that new perspective is one that's going to feel healthier and give us more vibrance and vitality in our bodies. But we have to give it enough evidence that our subconscious mind is like, yeah, that's interesting. I could totally dig that. I could work with that, right? So another way that I know that I'm capable of changing is I went in wanting to study engineering and came out studying theater. So that was like a huge change. And another change was that when I went in to study theater, I knew pretty much nothing about theater and came out knowing a ton. So that's already like I'm capable of learning and growing and meeting new people and being in experiences I've never been in before and adapting. And because I've done that so many times, I can no longer believe the idea that I'm incapable of change is actually more true that I am capable of tons of change. So that's one way that you can do a turnaround. If you want to learn more about this whole process of inquiry, so get my book, Hold That Thought. You can get it right on my website, hannahmason.com. But first, you got to fill out the health quiz. Go to hannahmason.com/health quiz and fill it out. It'll just take you a couple minutes. It's super, super quick. It's going to go through the top 40, I believe, beliefs that block people from going after their health outcomes and from experiencing the vitality in their lives and in their bodies and in their minds that they're really looking for. You fill that out, you're going to gain so much clarity. And then you can Hold That Thought and take yourself through a process of clearing up a lot of the muck that's getting in your way. And you can also see on my website amazing things like our membership program, which is super affordable and gives you tons of incredible content. We've got coaching and group coaching, and I'm putting up a Hold That Thought course, which I'm really excited about. So many new things are happening over here at hannahmason.com. We're just up in the vitality game, and I want you to up the vitality game as well. So if you want to learn more, go to hannahmason.com and get yourself plugged in and engaged. Looking forward to seeing you there.
Want to find out what's blocking your vitality? Quickly take the quiz at hannahmason.com/health quiz.